Here's a rundown of what the first 6 months of my sobriety journey looked like. The first 2 weeks was definitely more of the physical withdrawals. Difficulty sleeping, shakes, cold sweats, feeling like I was crawling out of my skin, a lot of digestive issues, didn't really have much of an appetite, just felt really run down, almost like I had the flu. Mentally and emotionally, my anxiety got worse. Lots of overthinking, obsessive thinking, future tripping. Around week 3, I started feeling better. I started sleeping better. It wasn't perfect, but it was better. And the cravings were unreal. My witching hour was between about 5 to 8 p.m., so I knew I had to do whatever it took to distract myself. I went for a lot of walks. I planned out my evenings as best as possible. And finally, I would get to the point where I would just go to bed. Even though I wasn't really sleeping, I would just go lay in bed because I was just over it for the day and just felt like I didn't have any more energy to fight it. I spent a lot of evenings pacing the floors in my kitchen, walking around the block over and over and over again. But I learned that my cravings usually lasted about 20 minutes and then they would subside and they weren't as strong. Around the 4 to 6 week mark is where I felt like it got a little bit easier. I mean, I was still keeping a very strict, rigid schedule. I had a routine. I had a plan for every evening. I didn't just go into it and wing it. But I didn't feel like I was so white knuckling it. And the sleep had gotten a lot better at that point. Around the 10-week to 3-month mark is where I felt like I had really broken the habit of drinking, and the new structure I had put in place felt like a new normal. And it felt normal to not drink, to the point that if I were to get in my car and drive to the store to go buy alcohol, that would have felt abnormal. And after the 3-month mark, I felt like it just gradually kept getting better and getting easier. I mean, I would still have cravings here and there, but they were definitely few and far between. I was still keeping that rigid schedule. But then at the 6-month mark, I feel like it is where it just clicked. The whole sobriety thing, the schedule, the routine, the community, everything just clicked. And it solidified in me that I can do this. I can be a sober person. And also, I had seen a lot of benefits. I was losing weight. I was sleeping great at night. I had very little anxiety, to the point that there was pretty much none at all. I had energy when I woke up in the morning. 6 months of no hangovers will do that. I had motivation. I was goal-oriented. I felt like a different person, and I liked who I was, and I liked how I felt. And I think that just fueled me to keep going. And here I am now 18 months later, and deciding to get sober was one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life.